Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you've had the most amazing week. Let me know how your week has been, guys. I've just got the chat up just now so I can answer questions. But can you believe we are the last day of the trading month, and we are about to enter December. Can't actually believe how fast it's gone. Oh, you joined the server yesterday. Amazing. Hi, Mrs. Trendline. Hey guys. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes to give everyone else a chance to jump on. But yeah, let's catch up. Let me know how you've been getting on. Christopher says amazing week. So that is always good. I've actually had a bit of a chilled week for me. You know, I haven't traded too much this week. It's been a lot about actually just resting and personal wins. All my trades seems to be doing quite well at the moment. It's like I've literally taken Monday we had a green day. Tuesday we just about had a green day. It was a little bit all over the place. I'll explain to you what happened there. And yeah, didn't trade Wednesday, didn't trade Thursday, and here we are Friday, my only trade of the day, and we are doing good. This is gold. Welcome, tradable. For I remember 20. Yeah, it's crazy. It feels like, you know, I just don't know where this year has gone, but you know, let this be our sign to go full steam ahead with 2026. I think for a lot of people, 2025 there was a lot of lessons. This was clearly the year of lessons. I'm actually going to go risk free in this trade. I think we're good to go risk free. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Amon, hello. Good to have you here. Where is everyone today? Is everyone slacking because it's Black Friday? Everyone's out shopping. Everyone's out shopping and getting all their Christmas stuff. I hope you guys have taken advantage of ThinkCapital's Black Friday deal, because you're not going to get better than that, guys. You're getting 40% off and a free challenge. Like, you know, if this is the time to buy an account, this is your time. Let 2026 be the year that you just stack a load of funded accounts and make a load of money. Tell me your wins from 2025, guys. Some of the big wins from 2025. No, there's not as many people as usual, but like I said, maybe everyone's out Christmas shopping. It's Black Friday. But you guys are locking in. You guys are my dedicated people, you know, always wanting to better themselves. Literally says demo. Yeah, because it's a funded account, like a challenge account. I'm passing. This is one of many. This is a 50K challenge. No, I'm waiting for Christmas discount. I'll purchase 100K. It's 75% off. But today is Friday. Is there anything to trade? Yeah. Okay, guys, let's get on. Hopefully we got some more people joining in, but let's have a little look. So I'm going to explain this trade to you and why I took it. So for me, I always like to start on the higher time frames. I actually do all my analysis. I don't always do my analysis here, but let's clean this up a little bit and just show you guys. So Okay, firstly, I always start on the daily, so we actually do need to move this out a little bit. So we've got a trend line that's coming down here. We have that counter trend line, which does look like we're breaking above. I'm gonna take away this daily order block here because we've already used it. So for me, it's invalid now. I also, so you guys know, I use trend lines, I use key zones, market structure. That's basically the way that I trade. So yeah, okay, let's have a look at the 4 hour. So as we can see on the daily, it looks like we are creeping our way slowly back up again. You know, we're creating a bit of a range here, and who knows, gold might now range for a little while, you know, using this whole area, because when we do range, the range is very, very big. But yeah, let's have a look at the 4 hour. So the 4 hour was breaking out of this trend line. And as you can see, nearly perfect. But if we're looking at the fact that it broke this trend line, it came to retest this trend line, and then we entered literally, I actually didn't use just this, but technically if you wanted to trade trend lines really simple, we got a rejection here, we got a rejection here, got a doji candle showing that weakening in the sales. Market structure is telling you bullish, daily is telling you bullish. You know, I literally entered like here, so it gave us the same result, and that would have been literally it if you wanted to trade that way. But I will show you what I used. Oh, if we have a look at the fib tool here, so I like to get the fib tool up on the 4 hour. So my kind of key areas of interest are around at least 50%. As you can see, we nearly tapped into 0.78, and 0.6 is also, you know, what they call the golden zone. But yeah, I always want to potentially take my trades once we've tapped into these areas. So this is what I used, and then we drop down. So I'm just gonna get rid of this because I don't like how messy it looks. So if I just, so what I would have done is have an alert for when we hit our zero, at least 50% on that pullback. Have a look on the 1 hour, see what's happening here. I'm pretty sure, if we have a look, this here being the Asia lows. So we've got Asia lows here, Asia lows here. We then sweep this area. So we try to break through, we're having rejections. And then this is where I'm happy for my entry to be on the 5 minute once we get bullish structure. So yeah, we came here. It was looking like this here. Then we start to get bullish structure over here. We're breaking above this high. You know, we kind of broken out of it. And then I entered on this area of support, sorry. So as you can see, we got a bit of an area of support here, and that was my entry over here. And then now we have finally started making that move. So it shouldn't be long before I hit my TP. In terms of my target, it's literally just, if we go back onto the 1 hour, it's literally Asia highs. So yeah, we're nearly there. We're not far off. There's Asia highs. So that's my target. Should we trail? Trail the stop loss a little bit here. So then, yeah, that would have been nearly 1% in that trade on this account. Okay, so let's have a little look, see if we've got some questions. Okay. I hope. Good boy. Is it a dual step? Yes, this is a dual step, guys. Doey December says as one of the low. Yes, it absolutely is. So definitely this, during Christmas, that 2 week period of where people break up for Christmas and like New Year's and stuff, is definitely very low volatile. Your spreads are probably going to be higher as well because there's less volume in the market. So just be wary of these things. I choose, for this time to be a time where you're spending it with your family and being present. We have all year round to trade, so just make sure you don't do anything silly during these times. But I will trade, up until probably around like the 20th of December, and then just have some time off. Doey, are you on X? Yes, I am. It's just Doey trades on X. Yeah, so 4 hour is always good, to be. If we don't hit, sorry guys, the thing is, whenever I am watching a trade and we're so close to TP, this really tests my strength because I always post stories of. Actually, let me know in the chat, guys, who here would take profit or who here would be waiting for this TP to hit. Be interesting to see. Really overextended on the 1 hour there. I mean, we got some time though. If we could just get a little push up. Do I trade futures? I do both. I do Forex and futures. What's your plan for December? Yes. I think I just went through that. I trade till infinity. I like 0.6 as the golden zone. Yeah. So the reason why I was saying I like, especially on something like gold, sometimes you're not going to get very deep pullbacks. Sometimes it's like 0.3. So I like to just have the alert up for when we do get into 50%. So at least, we're in a bit of a discount there. But yeah, Tori trades sister. I don't completely trade like Tori, even though, like I said, that her system would have given you the exact same entry, but without all of the stuff that I've just gone through with you guys. Oh, better than Tori. Thank you. You really call that me. That's it. Thank you, Sir Elrich. Do you trade? Yes, I do. I'll go through all the trade pairs that I do trade. I will take minimal trades this period though. Yes, yeah, definitely. Trading or cuteness. Oh, I'll wait for it to hit. You'll wait for it to hit. Okay. What is your risk per trade and per day? So this trade we risked just over 0.5. I definitely don't recommend risking over 0.5 on funded accounts, guys. Just give yourself room. You're meant to take losses. You may go on a losing streak of like 3-4 and then win a few. So don't over leverage, because you've got to give yourself room. Look how close we are to this. This is slightly painful, when we get this close. I'm just gonna trail this up to at least here. Who's holding? I would exit. I face 5 to 6 times when price reverse near TP, or it creates stress on me when it zigzags. Okay. Why don't you trade currency? I do trade currency pairs. I trade Euro USD and GBP USD. So we'll go through that in a minute. Gold now unstoppable. Spreads are very high. Yakov. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yakov. Hey. Real men face that problem, so waiting isn't bad. I want to short. Do you think there is a chance? I'm not going to trade against the trend, to be honest. What's your win rate with this system? No wick candle, strong bullish signal. Yeah, I'm holding, guys. So I saw a comment in there of someone saying that there had been lots of times where holding doesn't play out. So have you collected enough data of trades where you've held out and where you haven't held out? Because something that I'm learning at the moment, guys, and it's really interesting, because if this doesn't go my way, we're gonna make a little bit of money. It's not gonna be what we wanted, but these are the emotions that we genuinely need to feel into. The more that you try to resist this stuff, the harder trading becomes, because this is part of the process. So the reason why I asked you if you have collected enough data without having making those decisions based on your previous experience, for me, I've been collecting data on holding, and yes, there's been a few times where it's gone against me. There has been many of times where it's gone against me, but actually there has been probably more times where it does hit my TP. So all those feelings that you feel when you're feeling uncomfortable, don't run away from those things. Actually feel into this. I've collected enough data for myself to know that yes, sometimes this might get so close and us come back down, and we come out with nowhere near as much profit, but that's okay. That is part of this process, and I don't want to run away from these emotions, because the more you run away from these emotions, the more that they control you. We're so close, guys. We're so close. But you know what? It is what it is. We gotta just go with it. Come on, ThinkCapital. You don't like, obviously sometimes the spread, so we gotta just get over the line a little bit. It's definitely hitting TP. The most important is psychology, then risk management. Yes, 100%. Psychology, risk management, then your strategy. Psychology is the thing, guys, that is going to determine whether you are going to be a profitable trader or not a profitable trader. So I'm literally doing this. There we go, guys. We hit TP. So yeah, happy with that. But yeah, there's been so many times where it hasn't hit TP, but don't fixate on those negative emotions. Fixate on the times where it does. As long as you protect yourself, and I've been silly where I haven't gone break even, and then all of a sudden it drops down so fast that it literally hits my stop loss. But that's my own problem, that's my own fault. But like I said, there's lots of times where over the last month, I think there has been one time where that has happened and it felt horrible. And remember, humans do fixate onto the negative things, but it happened one time, and we've been here probably, I don't know, where I've been holding for quite a while. It's playing around. It does get your heart going a little bit, but actually, three or four, no, out of five, only one of them didn't hit. So over a span of like a few, and I very much saw this as a strategic TP. It's we've taken out the lows from Asia. It is a bullish market. If we were trading against the trend, maybe you got to have realistic TPs as well. Like for me, this is part of my strategy. We take out the Asia lows, we aim for Asia highs. Like that again, just plays out for me. So yes, okay, we could have ended up with half the amount of profit, but we would have still ended in profit. And the main thing is about sticking to your system. Yeah, I love that, guys. Win. But yeah, so also I do, even though it has been a win, I want you guys, this is a bit of advice that I have for you. Redefine wins and losses. I get asked all the time, how do I manage those losses? You shouldn't be over the moon if you win, and you shouldn't be really down if you lose. If you are, your emotions are controlling you. You need to be neutral. It's about following the system. It's not about the outcome. Did you follow your rules? Okay, now you can feel happy. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. Don't let yourself be controlled by that, because yeah, okay, that was a great trade. Entry was pretty spot on, guys. Like you saw you saw it in real time. But it's about the fact that I followed my system to a T. And that's what you got to be training yourself to do. to stay in this game long term. But yeah, so let's go through the other things that I trade. So there was nothing really on anything. Well, to be fair, I haven't been super active today, but let's like talk through, you know, how I would analyze the market. So this is NQ, bit choppy, been pulling back for a while. You know, it's the most it's dropped in a long time. Does look like we are now breaking above this trend line though. If we have a look at structure on the daily time frame, we have had a market shift just about. Depends, you know, where you want to put your market shift area. Are you classing your high there, or are you classing your high there? Either way, I think this is a change in market structure. So we were moving down, now we're moving up, so bullish. And if we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, we just had like a real big extension. So this was the last low for me. I'm not going to consider that as a high. I'll consider this area as a high here. So, you know, for me, we want to be retracing at least to 0.3, 0.5 before thinking about entering and on this particular setup. But, you know, it might just extend and then you wait. You know, this is something for me that I've really been working on this year, is just being okay with not having a setup. People will message me and I'm so frustrated, I can't see. If you can't see something, if it's not happening, it means do not trade. You don't have to trade, guys. You don't have to trade loads. It's a complete myth to believe that you have to trade loads to make money. You know, we've done one trade today on a 50k account, and we've basically upped nearly 1%. That hasn't come from taking a trade on gold, NQ, or I trade GBP USD, Euro USD, silver. It hasn't come from taking a trade on every single one of them. I saw a setup for gold, so I decided to go with that one. I just haven't really had time to look at anything else. But yeah, so for me, I wouldn't have really been looking at NQ today because we would need a bit more of a pullback. Or at least, you know, it's broken out on the 4-hour, at least come back to retest this the back of this trend line, but it hasn't. So let me just see if we've got any. My TP would be for 200 for gold. Amazing. But I'm happy when TP. Be a good loser, follow the rules, stay disciplined and patient. You can't. Yeah, exactly that. I like that sentence, tradable. That, you know, best advice for a beginner. If you don't like taking losses, guys, trading isn't your thing. But if you're here and trading was put in your path for a reason, you know, you're meant to succeed in this, but there's obstacles to work through. There's things to treat in our belief system to allow us to be doing something like trading, and it is the most challenging thing psychologically, but the most rewarding when you can push through these things. And it's a never ending game, guys, but very, very much worth it. Lose or win or break even, yep, doesn't matter. What was the RR of your trade gold a while ago, Doey? Mon, so I don't have specific RR like requirements. Like, I love a 1 to 2. Don't be fooled by social media telling you that you have to have every single trade at like a 1 to 5. You know, sometimes you're going to get those entries, but yeah, my 1 to 2s I'm happy with. But yeah, it just, for me, it's just what's realistic. I like trading from like highs to lows, zones to zones. I'm not a, you know, even though I do trade trend lines as a guidance, I don't swing trade. You know, if you're swing trading and trading with the trend lines, then you're meant to stay in those trades until the trend lines are broken, which isn't something that I do. So yeah, you know, I'm very much a day trader, very much happy with like a 1 to 2, 1 to 3. That's where I'm at. But how do you okay, do you want to see how I draw them so accurate? People always ask, like they always say they don't like trend lines because they don't find that they can draw them very accurate. But yeah, let's get rid of this one. So I don't use the trend line tool. I actually use something called Ray. So if we go with the highest point, for me, I like putting my trend lines at the highest point. So that means where the wick is. So start at the highest point of the trend and only look to join the second area up. So it would be there. But yeah, I actually, and that would have been your first trend line. And then this is how I then like make multiple trend lines. If it gets steeper. But yeah, then you don't have to worry about it being like off. It's literally like a ruler, but you just have to do point A and point B. So it's really easy. But yeah, nothing on NQ today. Let's have a little look at Euro USD. Oh god, messy as hell. Let's start on the daily. Let's have a look. Okay, so we can see on the daily, we are moving down. So as this trend line like moved out, because originally it would have been something like that, and then you can see we broke, and then what we do is we literally just keep moving it out, broke there. You can see as well like how it breaks out, comes to retest the trend line, rejects, you just keep moving it out. This is where we're at now. Okay, so we had a bit of a fake out over here. So what we do with that fake out is we just move it. Move our trend line out again. So there's our trend line. So I'm going to take away this order block here because it's being used. But as you can see, like we had that order block there, it literally taps into it, rejects. So yeah, I like using key zones when we get to them. No kind of order blocks or anything on the other side at the moment that hasn't been used. So yeah, it's interesting to see. These are daily candles. Are we just gonna come back down to this bit again? Once we exhaust these trend lines, it's either gonna break up or shoot down. So I think my bias definitely for the pound anyway, pound and dollar, is that we're gonna continue down. That's more based on like fundamental stuff more than anything else, but I don't really know about the euro. Okay, so 4 hour is looking a bit choppy today. So it was coming on when we came on this morning, would have been down here. So yeah, so what this would have shown us on the 4 hour is that we are transitioning again from, it was moving up, now it does look like we are moving down, because if we have a look here, we've got breaker structure here or up here, wherever you want to, everyone's kind of subjective to this. We got more structure being broken here, so we've come back into this zone, back into this trend line. So actually a really good, literally touched the trend line and rejected away. Let's have a little look at the fib retracement on here. So that would have been a high. We need a low to be created first. But let's say this 4 hour prints as our low, but it could just continue to drop. So again, nothing for me on Euro USD, because we need a low to be created to then be taking this position on the pullback. But I don't even know if this is going to be the low yet, but if it is, then we're wanting it to go back into at least into the 50%. Pro trader, hey. How many touches? Oh, what's your biggest trading lesson this week? That's a good question, guys. My biggest trading lesson: do not trade when you're busy. So my day that I had a bit of a wobbly day, I managed to take more trades in that day than I have done when I've had the whole day to trade. And that was a little bit of a spiral for me. I still actually ended the day still not as a losing day. It was still actually slightly in profit, which I definitely did not deserve because I allowed my emotions to get the best of me. But the win there is that little spiral was still controlled enough to not then continue, because then back in the day that would have just taken away all of my profits and more, but yeah, I was very busy and I still was trying to trade, and I'm not really too sure. I think with that with that happening, I think I was breaking my rules. So then when you break one rule, you're like, oh, screw it, I'm going to break another rule, and the cycle happens. But yeah, my biggest take from this week is there is just no point trading when you're busy, and you just don't need a lot of trades to be profitable, guys. The more time you enter the market, the more risk you're being exposed to. So actually, if you can wait for these A plus setups and not just get FOMO, say like we just end up pushing all the way down here, and you're like, great, I should have just entered, or I should have just not waited for the low to be created. I should have, whatever. It's That's FOMO. That's you being led with your emotions. So yeah, for me, it's just about being patient. And this, I know this stuff we say every single week, but the more times that you hear the stuff, eventually it will sink in. So you have to hear things over and over and over again. Platform looks very good. Yes, it is. It's my favorite ever platform, Think Trader. The game is either ways. 1-to-1 plus high win rate, 1 or 1-to-5 low. Yes. So yeah, I do get it. But with a 1-to-2, you can have a win rate of like 50% and still be profitable. In comparison to other yes, it is really, really good, Nick. What time frame? Well, guys, you're gonna have to give a bit more context to the questions. What time frame for what? And Lyra, choppy, yes, exactly. Such volatility comes issues. Yeah, like I said, like that's why I couldn't see any nice setups anywhere else. I saw what I needed to see for gold. That's why we entered. And I'm going to talk. GBP USD moves very similar to Euro. Do not trade when you're busy. How is going a day? 23 is going very, very good. Feel like Black Friday comes around very fast and there's just too many things that I want to buy. But remember, guys, if you're going to spend money on Black Friday, don't just keep repeating old cycles and buying stuff that isn't going to make you more money. I know it's not in our nature to what, like, we want to buy things like clothes, accessories, all that kind of stuff, but start thinking like someone who makes money, and those people, they will invest in themselves. I'd rather spend money on making more money. Are you a scout? I'm a day trader. What's the aha moment? What's the aha movement in your entire trading journey? What do you think changed your life? Wow, guys, you're really asking the deep questions today. I like it though. The aha moment, in all honesty, that absolutely changed the game for me in trading. It's actually nothing to do with the technical trading itself. My aha moment with trading was realizing how related this is to our subconscious mind. The reason, guys, that you are over trading, FOMO trading, revenge trading, all of these things, it's not just as, black and white is like, oh, we know better. No, you're literally being controlled by your subconscious mind, which controls like 95% of your actions, because humans are literally on autopilot. One of the key things that our brain does is basically conserves energy. So, you don't need to think, how do I eat? How do I walk? You just get up and you do. So, everything that we do is on autopilot. So, my biggest breakthrough was realizing that I needed to start working on the subconscious mind. And luckily for me, this work isn't new to me. I have been doing this for the last 10 years of my life. I've been really studying all of this stuff, and my journey started, kind of before trading, and I've been doing it during trading. But I was actually training to be a coach, to recode the subconscious mind and understand how that works. So it was to do with like neuroscience and kind of like, you're using techniques like hypnotherapy and stuff like that to actually understand that until you are able to come away from these things, you are going to continue the same patterns in trading. No matter how many videos you watch, no matter how many courses of people's systems, I can show you my system, it works. Someone else can show you their system, it works. Every system works, guys. That doesn't matter what system you use, but it's all about your mind. And the quicker that you can be open-minded and not let your ego tell you, oh no, that's bullshit, that's not relevant, I know better, I've already done all of that stuff, or I've always been this way. If that is your language, and if that's genuinely the way that you think, you will be stuck in this cycle, and you'll come back on Monday and you will do the same stuff where you show up, you try, it might go well for a bit, and then you spiral, and it just keeps happening, and you're like, I have no control. So this work is even more important than the work that you do within trading, and more important than the strategy. So the quicker that you can genuinely realize that and think, okay, right, how do we how do we work on this stuff now? Stop watching endless videos of different strategies because you're just getting overwhelmed. Find a strategy that works for you, that you like. Find someone that you like in the sense of like teaching, and you can understand the way that they teach, because some people, for me, I can take in what they say. Other people, I literally can't understand a single word. It's not that they're not good at teaching or trading. They're probably amazing, but I don't relate, I don't correlate, so my brain is switched off. So fixate on your one strategy, but honestly, guys, do more work outside of trading. Do more work on your mindset. And I heard this in business once. Work harder on yourself than you do your business. And I didn't realize how relevant that was to trading until I had those breakthrough moments. And then I started to do that stuff, started to revisit all of that work. I'm actually finally getting around to doing my exams this this December to get that qualification as a coach, for the subconscious mind, because I know how relevant this is to trading. But yeah, that was my breakthrough moment. So hopefully something stuck there. So yeah, so many times where if you're busy, it's just pointless. What is your max risk per trade? So on a funded account, never more than 1%, but like my ideal risk is 0.5. The trade that I just took with you guys, it was just over 0.5. I take a trade with less quantity and wide stop loss and let it be for 2-3 hours. I'm mostly profit. That's amazing, noob trader. I got caught up in major tilt. Okay, most traders I know lost money, but they didn't go on tilt. I guess that's the main difference between, yeah. So your mindset and the way that you can manage your emotions and work with yourself is the thing that is going to make you a profitable trader. Are you into futures? No, I do futures and forex. I agree with you. I like to basically swing trade, but at the end, spread becomes so large in JP. Yeah, I don't really trade JPY pairs. I think because of I like trending markets. And if we have like, you know, to be fair, it's not too bad, but like if you have a look here, you know, we go through these periods where it's just, I don't know, it's not actually looking too bad. I think, do you know what it is, guys? I trade gold, silver, NQ, Euro USD, GBP USD. That's 5 things. Um, I'm happy with one trade a day. So I feel like the more that I'm looking at, it's just too much. It's just I'm just, you know, it's just information overload. And I forget. I remember when I was looking at like 10 different pairs, and I just kept forgetting what I was waiting for on each thing. So it just became a bit much for me. Okay, so pound and the dollar. Okay, so this is where we're at on the daily. You know, it looks like we had yesterday a bit of a doji day, but are we going to now come back down again? If we zoom out completely, you know, we have been moving down. Oh. Moving down for a while. I like these trend lines because for me, it's just a very visual guide. This is our lowest point, and we are slowly moving down. When was this? Beginning of the year. We had a big push up. Interesting place where we're at right now. It does look like we are struggling. You know, we had that break to the upside on the 4 hour. So let's have a look at our fib. So when we haven't got to the 50% yet, but we're slowly kind of creating 4 hour structure. Yeah, I don't know. I would want to, again, nothing for me because nothing's clear. Nothing's clear enough. And this is what you got to learn to be okay with, guys. You got to be okay with not knowing and just sitting out, basically. But yeah, if we could see what the kind of reaction is to the 0.6 area, 0.618, that would be interesting to see if we get rejections to then move back up. But like I said, you know, we are on a trend line. The previous day we really struggled to like have a strong break above, and it looks like we could be coming back down again. So we could literally just bounce back down to this trend line, you know, keep kind of zigzagging until we exhaust the triangle. And then the last thing that I like to look at is silver. Oh wow, silver's gone back into all-time highs. That's interesting. Silver and gold do tend to move very similar. Yep, because we had this trend line that was pretty much not a trend line anymore. It was pretty much an area of resistance. So yeah, interesting. If we get a daily break above here, then we could potentially use the fib tool once a high has been created on silver, but that's the daily. So let's have a look at the 4 hour. We've had a lot of extension on the 4 hour. It's all very subjective when you see stuff like this, because some people wouldn't consider this a low. I would consider this a high, I think, but some people wouldn't consider this a low, and they'd be using the low that's all the way down here. So if that was the case, you know, your 50% is all the way back down there, so we would never have got a entry. And then if you like use this as a really, really small zone, it would have technically come into your 0.7 and then that move there. So it's subjective, but I personally probably wouldn't have seen this as a low. So yeah, nothing on silver for me, but it's interesting that silver's gone back into the all-time highs. Okay, let's have a little look and a little read through of these comments. GBP is a bit quick move further than euro. Apart from trend lines, what other confluence you? Okay, so Pro Trader, I think you probably would have missed the trade that I did at the beginning. The guys that were here. Okay, so let me just talk you through this trade that I took. So we had quite a few confluences. So the daily time frame to me, you're looking at it, for me it's looking bullish. We're creeping our way back up, we're looking bullish. That's my daily bias, 4-hour bias. I literally took the trade at the bottom of this 4-hour candle, and you can see it looks bullish. Our fib tool, if we do it from here to here, for me, I would want it to at least hit our 50%, which was this point here. We actually went into 0.618 and nearly 0.7. So, you know, for me, I'm like, okay, it's you know, come into those areas. So I'm then able to be happy with that pullback. 1 hour. So here, this here, no, sorry, is it? Yeah, it is. So this here is Asia lows. So for me, we came and swept them but didn't break through. We're having a lot of rejection under the lows here. It helps me with that bullish bias. So that only then at this point I've got enough in my head now for me to be like, right, I want to take this buy. So we're then going down to the 5-minute, basically waiting for bullish structure. We have all of this like kind of consolidation stuff here. We got this break of structure here, you know, all of this stuff. So we got this first confirmation of that break of structure. It came all the way down here, you know, subjectively. This could have been a break of structure again. I actually entered at this area here because we started to create a bit of a support there. So my trade was literally this point here. And then what I wanted to do was then target Asia highs, which is there. So nearly a 1 to, it was a 1 to 2. That was that trade. So yeah, it was a bit lengthy, to be honest, because if you're trading just trend lines, then, you know, it would have literally been breakout, retest, rejection on this trend line. This 4-hour there would have closed like that, showing you all of that rejection. Close there. That is where you enter. So would have given you the same entry, but with less stuff, basically. But I guess it all just depends as a trader what you like to. Some people like a bit more confirmation to get in. Some people like to keep it very simple. Okay. Do you trade? I don't really trade gas and oil. I don't use the moving average, guys, because I feel like there's already a lot. Like I said, I just broke that down for you. It's quite lengthy. It's quite a lot. I don't feel like I need to add in something else. So I actually have a mentor and he is like 65. He owned a hedge fund, which he was controlling 5 billion. He was an executive at JP Morgan, and he's basically my mentor for trading now. And he tells me when it comes to technicals, like, honestly, do the most simple things. You don't need loads and loads of stuff. Like, you can be profitable being simple. So for me, I just want to keep it simple, but I feel like I am the type of person that needs to have a bit more confirmation. So that's why that process for me is a little bit longer. But trend line breakout is perfect. You're not going to see that every time, which means you can't take every trade. But it broke out, retested this trend line once, twice, rejected, and then you take your trade. I haven't had an epiphany yet. Panda, if you haven't had an epiphany, you need to be more open-minded. So like I said, be open-minded to understanding that you don't know. If you knew how to be a millionaire, same for me, I don't know how to be a millionaire, which is why I keep an open mind. I am willing to listen to people who are a couple steps ahead of me, because that is just the way that I am, because I want to learn. I'm never going to get in my head of like I know best, because I absolutely don't, because I'm not living my life to the fullest. So if you haven't had an epiphany yet, you need to be open-minded to be trying different things, not different strategies, but different mindset things, different mindset shifts, having a different perspective on things. You'll get there, but you just need to have that open mind. But yeah, sorry guys, we went a bit deep into the subconscious mind today. You're a trader from the last 10. I've been trading for the last 8 years, but I've started my self-development journey and I've been studying the mind basically for the last 10 years. But yes, the subconscious mind holds your behavior. So that tells you, you're not meant to be working on your conscious mind, because if we could all choose to be millionaires, we would be millionaires. I'm sure of it. But that is not the choice. That's not how it works, So be open minded. Okay, guys, we have, oh, wow, lots of comments. When you become a successful trader, for me, the last 2 years have been my breakthrough with trading, and it's like I said, it's been 8 years in this game. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key to an extent. But if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results, having the same outcome, over trading, FOMO trading, over leveraging, feeling desperate, if you are just doing it over and over again and just keep consistently doing that, do not be fooled into thinking that that is progress. That is literally just doing the same thing, expecting a different result. You have to be consistent in trying to grow, not consistent just making the same mistakes. You're going to struggle to get to where you want to get to if you just keep making the same mistakes, guys. No worry, Appy. Such practical insights there are. No worries, pro trader. Are you trading full time? So I am trading full time. Obviously, I work with ThinkCapital, and I also help beginners. But yeah, no, I had another business before this, and I completely shut that and closed that this year to go all in with everything to do with trading. But yes, gold is pumping, just price action. No price action for me. BTC is not something that I really like to trade. I'm going to be looking at some JPY pairs, to be fair. Did you take any trades? Guys, I think I've explained the gold trade about 3 times now, so I'm not going to go through that again. Do you agree with beginners to trade with? Yeah, that's what I did. I focused on one pair when I became profitable, and that was gold. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Maybe do something like GBP USD or Euro USD, but yeah, I had my breakthrough moments with just doing one pair. It's only been more recently that I've actually started looking at other pairs now. You're cute in specs. Thanks. Okay, session wise is normally London, and someone who said who is my mentor, he I don't even pay him. He is a family friend. One of my partner, his mum introduced me to him because she she plays golf, which is a very rich sport. She met him and they were talking, and she found out that he owned hedge funds and traded. So she put me in contact. So yeah, that is my mentor. You only use no, I don't only use 4 hours, guys. Right, I didn't even realize the time, but I know you guys want the giveaway. So let's do the giveaway. But thank you so much for all of your questions. You know, even if they're deep, you guys, if you've been watching me for a while, I love the deep conversations and actually helping you guys. So let's get on with the giveaway. So our first winner is Tradable. Congratulations. Tradable. Right. Oh, there we go. There you are. Tradable FP. You are our first winner. Congratulations. So I'm literally just picking random people who have been here and are in the comments. So Tradable, I can see that you're there. So let's go with our second winner. All winners are literally chosen at random, guys. Like, I'm not looking at the screen, I'm not favoriting anyone. Okay. Hamza dash X3 S4V. Oh yes, there you are, Hamza. He's got, or she, little smiley face as the oh no, not, yeah, Hamza. Hamza, you are our second winner. Well done, congratulations. Yes, you are here. Amazing. You have I can't even remember the word now. Okay, last winner, guys. Last winner of this week, last winner of November goes to, here we go, Panda R1U. Panda R1U. Let me see if you come through. If not, then we will have to give it to, oh, there you are. There you are, Panda R1U, our third winner. Congratulations to my 3 winners. Thank you so much. Guys, to claim your prize, what you need to do is message me on Instagram. So if you go to Instagram, it's Doey Trades on Instagram, and I am the one with the blue tick. So then you know that is my account, no other accounts. But congratulations to my 3 winners, the last 3 winners of November. Next week we'll be back, first week of December. I hope you have the most amazing weekend. Have a great week, guys. And I will see you all later. Bye.